Praise the Lord. What a beautiful night it is. I am sitting in my car. This is a place where I sit very often, and I like to communicate with the Father here. But as I'm sitting here thinking about the goodness of the Lord, He's reminding me of the thief. And he's sharing some of the things that the thief come to steal from God's people. And one of the things that the thief steal from us is time. And the body has a lot of excuses. God's people have a lot of excuses, and they allow their excuses to rob them from time. And what is happening is our excuses allow us to be in a spiritual coma, allow us to be in a slumber. But we have to understand that this is the present hour, that we need to awaken from our spiritual slumber, that we need to come out of our spiritual coma. And what a spiritual coma does, it allows you to lay there for days, for months, for weeks, and for years. And you're not aware of what's taking place. You're not aware of what's going on because you just in a coma. You just don't know nothing. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about when Jesus said, Lazarus, come forth. We're in an hour now where God is calling you to come out of that spiritual slumber, to come out of that spiritual coma. But because Jesus' voice has so much power, you're going to arise and you're going to get to that place where you're going to get tired of the enemy stealing from you. You're going to get tired of procrastinating. You're going to be tired of making up excuses of why you can't do the assignment that God has called you to. How come you ain't allowed God to change you yet? How come every year you say you're going to do this at this set point of time and you still in the same place? You still at a standstill. You still stagnant. But what God is saying, that I'm getting ready to call you out of that spiritual coma, that you're going to be so alert and you're going to know that now is the time. Now is the time to move. Now is the time to get aggressive with the enemy. Now is the time to arise and do those things that God has called you before. The spiritual coma has allowed God's people not to evangelize. The spiritual coma has allowed the prophets to get off the wall. The spiritual coma has allowed God's people not to be compassionate. The spiritual coma has allowed God's people to be nasty. But we have to come back and take back our peace. We have to come back and take back the things that God has given us and called us to do, to take back our assignments. We're not even praying like we're supposed to. Where are the intercessions at? It's time to awaken from this spiritual slumber. It's time to get out of this coma and see what God is doing. We need to be where God is at. But we're so asleep. We're asleep by our excuses, by the distraction that's going on. But it's time to be alert. It's time to get aggressive. It's time to stand up. It's time to arise and do the will of the Father. I'm saying to you, it's time to come out of that spiritual coma.